Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at Urban Trail Tricky on the Nintendo Switch. Well, the first one was a direct competitor in my eyes for Trails. This one's just going full force with an arcade gameplay style and some over-the-top goodness to boot. But has it lost its way, or is this change actually for the better? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch much as we all do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So Urban Trail Tricky, it abandons the foundation of the first game nearly immediately, where that one focused on a course you would navigate from start to end with objectives to beat along the way. This one, it's actually bringing what is now 3 different modes to the table. We get timed, tricks and competition. Honestly, at this point it's worth noting, if the first took its influence from the legend that is Trails, this one it's cherry picking, I'd say, a few pieces of that one, but incorporating it into like a Tony Hawk style. The 3 modes, they go like this: there's timed, which are races, none longer than let's say 30 to 40 seconds in length at top speed. Tricks, get the highest score and beat those objectives with multiplayers and the like, for like chaining tricks together. And then competition, it's a simple enough concept, but perhaps my favourite of the 3. You pull off the stunts displayed at the top of the screen. Urban Trail Tricky as an experience is extremely focused in its design, with the tracks often being pretty tiny. It utilises this like 180 degrees manoeuvre, so you can actually now move both left and right in this 2.5D world. The tricks are fun and at their most complicated require 3 button inputs, either YXY or XYX. These tricks, they're creative and ridiculous to look at, but they go everywhere from doing yoga on your bike as you're pulling a wheelie, to one where you're literally air guitaring standing on your bike as you fly in the air. As I say, it is in every way about as arcade-like as you can get. Now, on the point of inputs, controls are a whole lot more forgiving than any Trails game, or even let's say Urban Trail Playground. Often I had death-defying landings and I would roll out of them with just barely a scratch. Occasionally, if it was bad enough, they might take away my multiplier, but that was about it. If Trails is a game of patience and maneuverability, this is just revving that engine to full speed and simply holding on. This is both a positive and negative for the game, honestly. Well, I can't deny I enjoyed my time in the world and the adrenaline rush was very much real. You're just squeezing on that acceleration and hoping you can pull off one more trick without bailing. The forgiveness of the physics, though, does mean it's all a little too easy and in turn over too quickly as well. All in all, to open up every single event and see the credits roll, it took me around, I'd say 2 to 2.5 hours. Now granted, it's priced for sure at a budget entry point to reflect this, but if you want to get a true longevity out of this one, you basically need to be a completionist or high score chaser. This, it's actually thanks to objectives tied to each track and then a 1 to 5 star rating system. These stars, they're actually what you use then to unlock that next location, and I feel like towards the end they could have been a little more aggressive and heightened the requirements to, add a little bit of a grind to it, something I think is absolutely at home in a game like this. These objectives, though, you can expect things like, beat the dev's high score and time, while each of the just over 30 levels then also contains 5 money bags hidden around the location, so think like skating Tony Hawk. Alongside this then, you'll be awarded cash for these, and that can be used for unlocks like new characters, bikes, paint jobs, smoke and new moves. While the majority of the levels are designed well, I will say the new enclosed spaces make for a few moments it just felt a little unfair, because there seems to be like a lot of low-hanging roofs I would end up jumping into. It's not a huge thing, but it's frustrating in a game of precision to have something that can basically trip you up, and there's really no way of knowing it's coming. The only way to get over it is simply playing it to learn it and then repeating it. It feels a little like it's artificially extending the game's runtime purely by catching you out. So outside of this single player then, it's sadly lacking a little in options to pull you back in. I was hoping for just like an open location I could go insane in, but that's not here. Also, I was hoping for multiplayer, but there's no local or online. This seems like a pretty big missed opportunity to me, considering the first entry had a great local multiplayer. You were chasing each other. I gotta say though, I have this sneaking suspicion with this one they intended to put multiplayer in here and it never happened, because literally when you load up the game, the main screen actually says single player, Why would you put that there if it was the only mode in the game? Seems like a weird thing to have. The only real additional content here is a selection of bikes, riders, and then new tricks to unlock. These will be added to your repertoire, and you can basically switch out the moveset you have if you get bored of watching one over the other. Overall, this was not in any way the game I expected. Going in, I was thinking I was going to get like a visually like cartoon and relaxed take on Trials. Instead, I actually got a game all about tricks, high scores, and then the occasional race. It was surprisingly, I'd even say like relaxing, as I just powered my bike through every single location, but sadly it's because of this, it lacks like the reward its peers deliver. Coming into this one, you've got to go here for arcade entertainment, not the challenge you may have expected. And with just basically a single player run of 30 levels, you got to be pretty passionate about chasing those high scores and collectibles. So when it comes to graphics, I like the overall style, but the repetition sets in, which is a shame for something that can be beaten in a couple of hours, at least if you don't tackle those extras. Well, the original took you to some points honestly stunning, like beach locations, towns. This one, pretty much every single stage is the same downtown district, which seems to be under construction a whole lot. Variety really would have been nice here just to break it up a little bit. Then the bikes, the characters, we get a nice selection. We get 12 riders, my favourite being a dude in a banana suit, and 4 bikes. While the selection of bikes is limited, I will say they have different attributes in like power and speed, something I forgot to mention in gameplay, but they can then each be customised with, you know, paint jobs and then different smoke effects. This for sure like adds to the visual style, but it doesn't really do a whole lot for the gameplay itself. One thing I really liked with this one though, it was the animations for our bike and rider. Well, for sure, you know, unrealistic. It embraces the cartoon-like experience it was going for, and it really pays off, giving each of our riders, I'd say, a lot more personality than we typically see in a game like this. Overall, look, visually we get a bright, vivid world with more than enough like jumps and reasons to basically be an idiot on a bike. Then it all runs at a locked 60 frames per second, which is always great. Sadly though, the variety in design is lacking, and you'll quickly feel like you've seen everything, and you're gonna probably struggle to identify, you know, one track from the last. I literally can't tell you which was my favorite, because after 2 hours, none of them really now stand out. So audio then, and it's decent enough, having everything you would expect while not doing anything that's, you know, gonna blow your mind. The engines, they sound good, the bike slamming down has a little, you know, weight to it, and then there's the occasional dialogue moment. They basically shout these out during stunts, and they are very like repetitive, but I will say it never bordered on like obnoxious. The music then, and it's inoffensive stuff, I can't really remember any of it if I'm honest, but it was just like an electro vibe that matched that cartoon visual style. It's decent enough stuff. So the final verdict, and this isn't necessarily, you know, a direct sequel to Urban Trial Playgrounds or the next Trials. It takes the 2.5D look and kind of the concept, but then does away with everything that makes them like addictive and challenging, instead going for like over the top action and high score chasing. Not once did I find a moment in this game that, you know, had me stuck, you know, where I had to like slow down my engine or patiently move forward. It was full throttle as I flung my cartoon self all over the shop. I had fun with it, I can't deny that. The tricks look good, they're simple enough to pull off. They also drive some precision because of the multiplayer element. You don't want to, you know, bail or crash. And yeah, I gotta say, it reminded me of Tony Hawk in more than a few ways. Sadly though, with it being done in a couple of hours from start to finish, it is very much designed for those that love completionist experiences and those high score chasing moments, because outside of that there's really no other reasons to go back. You know, no open location to practice, no online multiplayer, no local, so that core is very much what you're paying for. While I enjoyed my time and I do like the idea, it just never gave me the satisfaction of beating a truly difficult moment or overcoming that level that, you know, had me stumped for like 100 attempts. And that difficulty to me is kind of what makes games like this so memorable. All in all, to unlock every level, I only had to redo a level like once to get the stars I needed, and that was mainly, to be honest, because I got greedy with my multiplayer and I lost it all at the last second. Today I'm awarding Urban Trial Tricky an above average 6 out of 10, just come here knowing there is limited content, and now you gotta justify and balance, can you pay the cost? versus do you want to do like objectives and replays, because that's really the mentality you need to get your value out of it. I think the most important thing though to know with this one is you're coming here for something more relaxed and light-hearted than you may typically expect from the genre. Thanks for watching. As always, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.